Hello, my name is Jeff Alexander from Ignite, and I would like to share with you a really common question that I get is, how do I be unlimited? What does that really mean, unlimited? People who want to go for things in their life, they want to produce results, often get up to a point where they just can't get any further. They get like blocked or something challenges them, and they tend to back away. So it's a very popular question that I get. I'd like to share with you a story. In India, even to this day, how they train the Indian elephants to work out in the forest, because there are places when they cut down trees and they get lumber, they can't access that even with tractors and man-made equipment. So they still use the mighty Indian elephant to go out and get the lumber and pull it into camp and then be able to utilize this for resources. They literally take a baby elephant and they'll follow the mother around all day long, this little brand new baby elephant, and they go off into the forest with the trainer. And the baby elephant watches the mother, works alongside the mother, and then they bring that mother back into camp at the end of a long day, and they take that brand new little baby elephant for the first time, and they separate it from the mother. They put a 15-foot long, heavy-duty chain, and they shackle it around the right ankle of that baby elephant. And they put a post in the ground that's about 3 feet deep. And then they lead that mother away out of the camp. Well, that baby elephant, of course, follows its mama until it hits that 15-foot mark. And with a shock, physical and both emotional, the baby elephant can't go any further. It then tends to panic. It tends to then go in every direction, crying and making a lot of noise, wanting to get to its mother. It goes 15 foot this direction, 15 foot that direction. And it does this hour after hour until the baby elephant just collapses out of fatigue. Now, at the end of the day, when that elephant comes back, on the next day, when they go back into work, they release the baby elephant and then goes and repeats the same process, follows the mother all day long. They come back into camp, they put that shackle on the right rear ankle again of that little elephant, and from there on in, the process repeats itself, day after day after day. And then what happens, something very interesting happens. That baby elephant, finally, after about a week of this, testing that 15-foot mark, gets about 14 feet, 11 3/4 inches, and stops on its own. It no longer waits for the restriction of the actual physical chain. It makes a decision. And everywhere it goes now, within that 15-foot diameter, it stops before it gets to the end. Now, what does that mean? It no longer tests that barrier. It no longer tests that limited chain that keeps it there. Now, as time goes by and that elephant grows, and they repeat the same process day after day, week after week, month after month, and this baby elephant starts to grow into a massive full-grown elephant. And this is the interesting part. We bring that big elephant back, but now it's not a big 15-foot heavy-duty chain with a big stake in the ground. Now they bring it back, and it looks like a twine, a very thin little rope, and they just wrap it lightly around the same ankle, 15 feet long, and they put it in a stake in the ground that's only about that deep. So obviously, anybody could go and pull that out. But here's what's interesting also. They put that in the ground knowing full well that that elephant will never test that chain, never test that 15-foot mark. And it will wander around that 15-foot mark for the rest of its life, as long as it's tied up like that, and never test it. It's so strong that they have even found in deep forest fires the carcasses of elephants chained within that 15-foot mark with a thin little rope, because they would not go. Why? Because it was a core belief deep inside of them that they no longer consciously were aware of that kept them back. Do you see the metaphor here? What happens when you get to that 15-foot mark in your life is you don't know it, you don't see an actual line, but you can feel it. You can feel the challenge, you feel the limitation. I often have people tell me, I don't know what it is. I've got this desire to go beyond it, but I feel like I can't do it. The fear of failure. Whatever the thought is that 15-foot mark. And it got in before you were 7 years old, like that little baby elephant. And then year after year after year, you never tested a mark, that belief ever again. So what begins to happen is that you forget that you learned that You forget that what is in the past no longer means it's in the future, and you believe it into a reality. And so by not testing that mark, by not following that desire, and here's the piece, by not doing that, you actually cement that belief and it becomes a core reality. You will say things like, well, no, I just can't do that. Nobody can do that. It's just not possible. Why? Because you now have turned a thought, and all a belief is a thought you think a lot, repetitively over and over again, then the subconscious mind puts it into the part where you don't have to remember it anymore, and now it becomes part of your reality. Haven't you ever wondered why the leaders out there are able to achieve extraordinary results? Well, here's the good news. They had that 15-foot mark too. And why we tend to admire them or worship them is because they had the courage to get through that. So here's a key word. Key word that one must be able to master is this. Confrontation. Confrontation. Now, how many of you, when you get up in the morning and you know you've got a major confrontation, you've got that 15-foot mark waiting for you when you go to work or you have to go to a relationship, and you know there's a confrontation coming, you're excited, you're uplifted, you feel empowered, you just can't wait to charge right into it. Well, I know what the answer is for most of you out there, is you don't like confrontation. Literally what the word means, and it comes from Latin called confrontare, what the word really means is to join with that which is in front of you, to confront, to be with that which literally is inviting you in. It's not to go away from it, to avoid it, to delegate it to someone else, but to literally have an invitation to join with that which appears to be scary, which appears to be a block, a wall that you can't go past. Every inventor knew this. You know, we wouldn't have an electric light if Edison literally believed that that 15-foot mark was not passable. There was no such thing as that. We wouldn't be flying in the air if the Wright brothers believed in that 15-foot mark that it's not possible to fly. In fact, you heard quotes that were said, if man was meant to fly, they'd have wings. Well, so what you do is the leaders create wings, and they're called airplanes. So the neural pathway that literally accepts the belief of limitation, that makes it real, all you have to do is entertain the same thought for as long as 68 seconds, and the neurons in the mind, in the brain, start to make connections. Now, if you do that day after day after day, the mind will then take over at that point in time with these pathways, that every time you see a particular or feel a particular resistance or challenge or what somebody says you can't be done, and you believe that to be, you have no choice but to follow that pathway. Kind of like a toboggan going down a slope of snow. You know, the first time you got powdered snow, you cut that path. Where you're cutting a path in the brain, literally, with their neurons will say, okay, this is the direction they want to go. They want to stop at that limitation because everybody believes that to be so. And then what happens is you keep going down that mountain, you keep going down that same path, it cuts a rut. So all you have to do, eventually, years later, is put that toboggan at the top of that path and just push a little bit, and it takes it on autopilot. You have no choice but to go down that path. But here's the good news. I'm going to write a word up here that's really important, that all of you have within you. And with that word, if you follow that, you will then join the ranks of the Einsteins, the Edisons, the Gandhis, the Mother Teresas, all of them that had to go through that 15-foot mark to achieve extraordinary results. They all embraced confrontation. And it's not the external confrontation of the world, it's the internal confrontation that ignites the process of fear or the process of limitation. It's what gives birth to the words, I can't. So they all went through that, and all of them cultivated this. They all became a berserker. Now, a lot of you have heard berserkers before. It has kind of a weird connotation. But what we do in Ignite, we call a berserker is someone who basically is free from fear. Somebody who's used that fear and gone beyond it. Someone who looks and appears to be fearless. Like some of the heroes we worshipped in the past, the William Wallaces, the Spartacuses out there that had insurmountable odds and yet were able to take a stand and still be able to be successful when they pass through that 15-foot mark. There is a berserker inside of you, and I know you know what I'm talking about. It's that passion, it's that zest, that feeling, and it births desire, rockets of desire within you to go beyond what you know everybody else says stop. So when you see that 15-foot mark, it's really, it's like a horse getting ready to bolt out and run on that race. It is an invitation to go forward, but you must be able to understand that confrontation of yourself, of your own beliefs, and to question them was the first step to go beyond that. It is a choice to do that. It's scarier on this side of the 15-foot mark. Once you go through it, and you've been taught how to go through this, and this is what our programs do, it gives you the visceral body and emotional experience of having the experience of having no limitations in going through this, so that when you're back into your world, back into your life, you see everybody else out there who stops, and that's an invitation to take that berserker power, that berserker attitude, and be able to confront whatever you think is stopping you from going through that. Truth of the matter is, you have choice, and that should be good news. How to make those choices, we're going to be talking about that in other videos, so that when others are shaking and scared and afraid to take that step and go past that 15-foot mark, you go ahead and do that and take that leap of faith with the knowledge and the confidence and the worthiness that you know that that desire that's pulling you across that mark is the very desire that your soul quests for growth. The desire is the key. Tap into that desire that you know there's more to life than that 15-foot mark. And here, watch out for this last piece. A lot of people think they got to give up that 15-foot world. Oh, but I'm comfortable. I had a lady one time tell me, I like my fur-lined rut. That's exactly what she said. And she heard me thinking that, well, you got to give that up and then go off into the Himalayas somewhere and meditate in a cold cave. No, not at all. You get to go to the 17-foot mark, the 25-foot mark, miles. You get to be unlimited. And with that, all you got to do is look back, and that 15-foot world is still there. So you don't have to give up anything. All you got to do is invite the willingness and the courage to go into the confrontation that is literally inviting you to open up to your greatness. Remember this, that the choices you make dictate the reality that you live. Literally, your behavior, in order to achieve what you want, must be cultivated so that you become that berserker and you start to look for the 15-foot marks in your world, and that's where you head. I hope this helps. We look forward to seeing you. We have an Ignite program that will give you literally the experience of doing this over and over and over again. You'll learn it mentally, you'll learn it emotionally, and you'll certainly have a chance to practice it. Come and join us. We look forward to seeing you. Share this video if it is helpful for you, and it just may help somebody else. Thank you. Hi, if you really like that video, please subscribe. That way you can get notifications of future videos I'm excited to share with you. Also, feel free to comment below. I get a lot of the subject matter from you, so I can address the topics that you want to hear the most about. And if you want to know more about our live events, go to my website listed below. Looking forward to meeting you in person.